about in terms of the compute capacity? Talk about it in gigawatts then.
A gigawatt per week will be the goal.
Okay, 1 gigawatt per
One
week.
per week. That will be Sam's goal.
Okay.
But we can start with 1 gigawatt per month.
So you think you can add 1 gigawatt per month next year?
Starting the second half of the year.
Second half of the year, so you think you can add 6 gigawatts next year?
I'm not sure. It really depends on our study and our new way of doing things. It takes time, but
Okay.
eventually we're going to get there.
Let's talk about then this opportunity in the US, because as you said, the part of this is about making America. It's
Yes.
very ambitious. What's the Capex that you need to also dedicate to the States?
The Capex wise, it's in maybe 1 to 5 billion to start with, to build the factories, to build R&D centers, but to build the working capital required to build a data center. That's totally different. That requires huge amount of money.
Yeah.
And with that, we are going to work with SoftBank.
Getting back to that $1 to $5 billion Capex in the US, what sort of timeline is that spread over?
We want to happen as soon as possible.
And how are you going to finance that?
Foxconn itself is able to finance that.
What are the biggest challenges with scaling up in the US?
Shortage of labor. As I mentioned to you, it's not the labor cost, it's a shortage of labor.
How do you get around that? What are the conversations like, and what are the biggest shortfalls that you see?
Yeah, we had to work closely with schools and the government, which we were very familiar with when we build factories all over the world. We had to work with local agencies or local government to get their people ready for the kind of job that we require.
On the AI server production assembly side, because today you made that point that you're at 1,000 units a week. When it
1,000 racks.
1,000 racks rather. Yeah, you can assemble 1,000 server racks per week right now. Next year, what does that look like in terms of your target?
I would say more than 50% of increase, to up to 1,500 to 2,000 racks.
You think you can double it? That's within sight. Are the data centers ready though? Like is the financing in place?
The power.
Yeah,
exactly.
I
think the critical thing is the power. Yeah, I think all the data center users, they're all trying to secure power, right? So we found some progress there that for our data center user to secure the power. Because I'm running a data center, the data center users will be the one who can use the data center. So they have more say than us to work with the government for the power, because they're the one can commit, not us. You know what I mean? So they will, I think they have a way to work it out.
Their conversations to have. Okay.
Yes.
If your US factories are going to be highly automated, or they are highly automated, can be, do you see then moving other types of production to the US, consumer electronics and specifically smartphones? Could you shift some production there?
Oh, it's a totally different game. Because as I mentioned, for the servers, their unit cost is so high. The labor cost comparing to it is small percentage, right? But for smartphones, the unit cost, $500-600. So the labor cost, and also the number of units much higher. As I mentioned to you, 1 million phones a day, right? If it's $1 more, that means 1 million gone.
Yeah.
So this is a totally different game. But I think once we have some kind of infrastructure built in the States locally that infrastructure, the cost of that infrastructure will become a leverage for other products to come.